Talking now about healing from trauma at any level so it stops affecting your daily life.
Life coach Chelsea Murdoch is joining us now to share how she helps her clients through life's ups and downs. And I'm sure you're very popular because there are many life's ups and downs.
Yes, there is. So I got into life coaching during 2020, during the pandemic. And what I originally wanted to do was help family members that love someone with a substance abuse problem. And then I heard a quote by Gabor Mate that said, don't ask why the addiction, ask why the pain. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, I need to know everything about this man. And so I started jumping into, any podcast that he had, any YouTube video, and throughout learning about him, he talked about his course, Compassionate Inquiry. And so I went to my husband and was like, I'm taking this course. I'm going to be the next Gabor Mate.
What's the difference between a life coach and a therapist?
So life coaches, that's a great question. Life coaches will ask more questions. And each therapist kind of has their own unique thing where talk therapy is a big thing. Life coaching is I'm asking you more questions, kind of finding solutions, and then kind of like coaching you through this, encouraging you, creating the safe space of healing.
And Chelsea, when you bring in knowing some trauma background and then the compassionate inquiry, you marry that together, and what do you have?
What I have when you create the two together is compassionate inquiry. One thing we do is we start off with a grounding exercise and we connect with the body, and then creating a safe space allows you to be vulnerable and open. And when you have that space, you can connect to the body, and the body is what kind of unveils these stories that you've kind of pushed down from, you don't want to feel them because it's too painful to feel this sad moment. And so you either minimize an experience or you blame yourself. You make yourself, it's my fault that this happened to me. And then you don't like that feeling. And so what we do is we get on social media, we get on, we create different outlets so we don't have to feel that pain.
You self-medicate.
Yes, you self-medicate.
Whatever that looks
Distractions.
like. So
Yes.
you specialize in trauma. Have we all been through a trauma?
Well, so what trauma is trauma is not what happened to you, but what happens inside of you because of what happened to you. And so if some traumatic event happened and you have that safe space to feel, go through the different processes, then it's not as traumatic, like you don't carry it the rest of your life. Yeah, something bad happened to you, but it's not carrying around. But if you don't have that space, maybe, your parents, you're raised by a single parent, and so they aren't allowed, or they don't have the time to see you in your sadness, or maybe they're going through their own grief. And so you have to be the strong person because you see your parent so sad. And then you store that trauma inside, and then that starts to define who you are. So that's what trauma really is.
And this is such a complicated subject too, in diving into just for the first few minutes, but you do have some theories here that might help, and you're just touching on the surface that we all could possibly benefit.
Yes. So throughout my course, Gabor had different therapists and psychologists come in and teach about their different modalities. And so I learned about polyvagal. And what polyvagal theory is, it's your vagus nerve. It's the longest nerve in your body. It begins in utero. And throughout life, it imprints and takes, am I safe or am I in danger? So you have these three main parts that are your sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight. You have your ventral, which is social engagement. And then you have dorsal, which is the shutdown. And so in a perfect world, those three can mirror each other. You need the sympathetic and the ventral to play a sport, to engage, to move. but you need that safety, and then you need the dorsal to like sit down and be relaxed and comfortable with your family members.
We've just touched on what Chelsea does. I know 5 minutes is not enough. If
Oh,
you'd like to
yes,
know more,
yes.
chelseamurdoch.com. You can see she also does videos on
Yes.
TikTok, on social media, and we'll put a link on abc4.com/GTU. Chelsea, thank you so much.
Yes,
we're
thank
gonna bring
you.
you back so we can
Okay.
continue this
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Up next, learning from Gen Z, the latest.